Welcome to my fat face. I'm of this, well, not opinion, but I am this way. If you want to change my mind, find facts as I'm doing over there, or, well, articles, white papers, studies that show I'm wrong. If you say that my brother's sisters that fucked a fucking chicken in the 80s that then got salmonella out of it is saying so, I don't buy it. Give me data. This video is going to be massively boring because I have like, what do I have here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 articles from kinda recognizable source or somewhat recognizable sources that are talking about this situation here. So I will read their conclusion. If you look a little bit at the articles, there will be linked to them down below. Let's read about it here from this article here. That's from the New York site. BTRFS Vs Ext4. Functionality, strength, and weaknesses from 2021. It's almost 2022. We can kind of slowly go over it here, just like the highlights here. Support for huge files. Yeah, you can have any byte of what the fuck it's called of files, but we are not really using them right now. So it's not potent right now or important right now. Efficient file stores built-in RAID. The average consumer don't use RAID. That's an enterprise thing. If you're going to buy a computer at Walgreens or Walmart or where the fuck you buy it, Computech or whatever, wherever you buy it, IKEA, what, I don't know, some of those places, they are not selling you a computer. Hey, look at our new gaming PC that is running RAID 10 or RAID 2 or RAID whatever it is. Online defragmentation, resizing, again, neat features. I'm not going to lie here. Dynamic inode allocation, neat features. Writable and read-only snapshots, neat feat. Checksum support, awesome. Optimized for SSDs, awesome. Journalized file system versus copy and write file system. Again, you may need one of the other, or multiple drive support. Ext4 do that with LVM. File level duplication, blah 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 blah. File level compression. Again, if you need to compress your file system, that's really important for you. Yep, maybe BTRFS is great for you. Maximum partition and file size. We are no near reaching the limits of what Ext4 can do in those areas. Not nearly. Checksums and ECC support, which could be nice. Snap support and blah blah blah. Conclusion. Ext4 file system is the latest release of the extended file system. Ext4 has been around for a long time, I think they would have said here, and it has proven its reliability and being stable. That's something we have to remember. If we are talking the corporate world and people like that and areas like that, one thing they value is stability, but proven stability, most of that. And Ext4 has a track record of being proven stable. Don't have all the bells and whistles, but it's a proven technology. That's why you see a lot of enterprises has a really hard time or are really slow to adopt new technologies because it's not proven yet. It is recommended for everyday users. So here they say Ext4 is recommended for everyday user. In case the power goes out, odds are Ext4 will keep your data safe. So even if I had someone say that, oh, BTRFS is great if you lose your power, well, Ext4 with the journalized file system should also help you with that to some extent. Maybe not as good as BTRFS, but it should still have some, some protection. Ext4 focus on high performance and scalabilities, and the performance can be important to you. And that's where I talked about the file size and many small files, many big files and stuff like that. In general, Ext4 seem to be the faster file system, just, fast, a little bit faster. And more scalable. It's a rock solid option since it has been around for a long time, bringing with it all the years of system testings and bug fixing. And I say that's why enterprises love stuff like that, because it's been proven to be stable. Regardless of all its features, it doesn't support data duplication, compression, and encryption. So if these things are really, 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 really important for you, Ext4 is not for you. But these things here are not something the everyday desktop user or even the power desktop user is that concerned about. The really specific edge cases where they think about that. BTRFS is on the other hand, is a modern file system that can handle up to 16 times the data. And again, we're not even reaching the end of the data that ext4 can and this improvement is specifically important as Linux is now used with enterprise entities. When I say we are not reaching this, I mean on the home front. I need to elaborate on that. BTRFS has many good features mentioned as about copy on write. Learn what that is, people. What it really means for your system. Not just read, understand. Snapshots, understand them. Checksums, understand that, and duplication. BTRFS is growing at a fast rate, but is still not considered stable. Why is it not considered stable? It don't have a track record of being proven to be stable. It may be stable. I will regard BTRFS as stable. That's my opinion here. I will say it's stable, but it's not stable for in the enterprise world's view. Until now, the ext4 seems to be a much better choice on the desktop since it is the default file system. And it's faster than BTRFS when transferring files. So if you're doing a lot of file transferring, which desktop users tend to do a lot, ext4 seems to be better. The BTRFS file system is worth looking into, but to completely replace the ext4 on the desktop might take several years. That's because of they need to prove that they are stable, they need to iron everything out and all of these kind of things. This is going to be a long video. 12 months ago, the comparison of BTRFS versus ext4 file system. And you can go in and read this article if you want in depth. And a lot of the articles are talking about the same thing. And that's because what is better on BTRFS or better on the ext4 file system is kind of the same things. The sell points for BTRFS is the sell points of BTRFS. So it's snapshots, file level compression, copy on write, and all of these kind of things. And you can go in and you can read up more about what these things is and what the alternatives are and how ext is handling compared to BTRFS. And let's see, what are they having down here? So advantages of ext4 over BTRFS. The ext4 file system is a very old file system. It's been used on the Linux operating system for a long time. Or long time. There's two longs in there. We have to remember the longs. Because of that, the ext file system is very stable. Proven stability means a lot for people, not new shiny things. The ext file system is still the default file system for many Linux distributions, Ubuntu Debian. If you need to store some data as an ordinary Linux user, you can keep your eyes closed and use ext4 files. What they're saying again here, for most people or the average person, even the average hobbyist, they don't need another file system. The ext4 file system have journaling support, so your files should be safe even when with a power failure. I had one person tell me that they had problem with ext4 when the power went out and not BTRFS. I had one person tell me that. I have plenty of people telling me that it's kind of the same. They didn't really notice that big of a difference. That they sometimes lost data, sometimes they didn't lose data. The advantages of BTRFS over ext4, and again, I'm not trying to convince you to use ext4, I'm just laying out why I have the opinion about BTRFS that I have. The BTRFS file system is a modern copy and write file system that was designed for higher capacity and high performance storage servers. High capacity, high performance storage servers. That's a different requirement for what you have on your desktop. Not saying you can't use it. So it has a lot of advanced features for the features that the ext file system don't have. The ext file system was designed to be a simple local file system. So desktop computers and stuff like that. And that's why, again, like I said, I recommend ext4 for the everyday user and for desktop users basically. And BTRFS if you run servers, storage servers and stuff like that. Again, because of these things here. The main features of the BTRFS file system are useful to the everyday user. They talk about what could be useful for you. Building file system level snapshots. Multiple driver support or device support. Again, LVM, you can get extensions to ext4 if you want that. And I will also say that this here is not so much a desktop thing as a enterprise server thing. The flexible inode allocation, yeah, I can see that. Optimized storage for here. Optimization for storing smaller files, specs files, block sub-allocating, trail packs, variable block size and stuff like that. So I do a lot of video editing. That's a lot of big files. Maybe BTRFS will not be good for me then, because I am transferring a lot of big files. And if you look at the other articles, say that Ext4 is great with big files and transfer speed. So for a content creator, that may be a selling point for me to use Ext4 over BTRFS. Building system level compression support. Again, I don't know about many people that are compressing their file system, even hobbyists. These are the file system features of which you may choose to use BTRFS file system over Ext4. In conclusion, this article we have compared the BTRFS and the Ext4 file system. I have compared the main features of the BTRFS and Ext4 file system. The article should help you decide, which one you want to use. And again, that was also why I made the other video. Here's another one. Here, can I see when this is the 2020? It tells a little bit about what file systems do, why switch a file system, Linux current file system, understanding Ext4 pros and cons. We've already talked a little bit about them, BTRFS pros and cons. And we have Linux distribution made the transition? Question mark. So this is also a little bit where they talk about it. And the conclusion and whatnot. BTRFS has been a stable part of the Linux kernel since 2013. So really, really, really important. Just because it's regarded as a stable plugin code to the kernel, don't mean that it's stable for the enterprise and stuff like that. It just means that the Linux people or that Linus Torvald and his camp are saying, yeah, it's good enough, patting it on the back. But that don't mean that IBM, HP, and all of these big companies and server farm people are saying that it's okay. Cloudflare and GoDaddy, they may say, we need more proof. You may say it's stable, but we have not validated it yet. And you can reformat your hard drive using the file system today, yeah. But BTRFS is not by any stretch the default file system for most distributions. That goes to Ext4, and again, you can see why in some of the comparisons before. Files are the most important bit and data on your hard drive. Personal data is irreplaceable. You can reinstall an OS and re-download apps, but without a backup, lost files are gone for good. Not really. There are ways to basically get your data out of a broken hard drive. There is actually there is programs to get your data even if you have put it in the trash bin and deleted it, because it's not really deleted. There are plenty of tools for that, but they can be somewhat expensive if you want someone that works. They are not, you can't expect to get everything back, but you can get most of it back. I have done some hard drive recovery in my time, family pics and stuff like that, where Windows crapped its pants, and I actually use Linux to basically get out the pictures that the people wanted from the hard drive and stuff like that, because the partition table was fucked up and stuff like that, but I still managed to get access to it via Linux and stuff like that. That is why it's crucial that a file system be proven reliable before switching millions of people over to using it by default. Ext4 may be old and arguably crusty. Yeah, it's not perfect, don't get me wrong, but it's also proven to be resilient and reliable, and that's really important. If the power goes out and your computer goes dark, odds are Ext4 will keep your data safe because of the journalized file system. For most people, such situations are the single most important factor. For some people, the most important factor. It's not about how well the file system performs and when things are going well, where BTRFS shines. It's about what happens when things goes wrong. One prominent distro has determined that enough time has passed to make a switch. So OpenSUSE I think it was the first one to main BTRFS. Now use BTRFS as a default for the root partition, where the operating system lies. For the home partition that houses your personal data. And you should think about this. However, OpenSUSE has decided to go with XFS for the file system instead. So, think about this. The root partition basically only holds your program, BTRFS. Your home partition that holds arguably some of the most important data. Passwords, if you have them on a fucking text file, your pictures, family pictures, all that you do is in your home folder. Your configuration files, all of that shit, you set up files and whatnot, is in your home folder. If your root folder go, fuck that, I just reinstall whatever operating system it is that I'm using, Manjaro, OpenSUSE, whatever. But if my home partition goes off, now you're in the fucking shitter. Now it's time to call the National Brigade and all of those things, because now shit hits the fan. The root partition basically just holds all your software. Your home partition is where all your personal shit is. Why they're not using BTRFS on your home partition? Again, a reason why I have the opinion that I have over BTRFS is, again, basically the article here. So no, the transition hasn't gone quite as expected, but as we have seen with Wayland, display driver, that's another subject, new technology sometimes takes a long time to proliferate across the Linux landscape, and that's because they have to prove stability, prove reliance, and all of these kind of things. BTRFS Vs Ext4. Can I see when this one was written? There's a lot of fucking ads here. No, I can't. But let's just look at the parameters here, and the comparison just really easily laid out. Maximum partition size, we are not even close to this on the home front. Maximum file size, yeah, we are not even close to this on the home front. Maximum file name length is the same. Snapshots, again, you can hack in or add in snapshots via third-party tools and stuff like that on Ext4, but it's natively under BTRFS. Journalized support, Ext4. Copy on write, BTRFS. File system level compression, BTRFS. So if these things down here are really important for you, at least these two and this one up here, like, oh, of course you should go with BTRFS. And again, they talk about some of the same things that the other ones are talking about. What are they saying here? Oh, here, which one is better? Is a better choice. Both the file systems have their own pros and cons. Ext4 is very old and stable, and is thus used as the default file system in Linux. I hate this word, thus. It's like, let me be more clever than you and show you that my intellect is higher than you by using old English language. It's just fucking use everyday fucking common language, man. It's also supports FreeBSD, which BTRFS doesn't. I think it does right now. I could be wrong. It also has I can't speak again. It also has journaling support, which is an important fail-safe practice in case of power failure. So we are read. This is the fourth article that say that in when we are talking power failure, you should go with Ext4 if you have a problem with power, apparently. However, it's instead of saying but BTRFS also have some attractive features like built-in RAID support, file system language snapshot capabilities, and compression, and more optimized file storage and capabilities. More, again, cater to the, as we read in the other articles, more cater towards the enterprise use. It is to be noted that BTRFS is often a bit slower. It's actually quite a bit slower than Ext4. And here they use but instead of however. The bulk of modern functionalities which it provides still makes it the preferred file system for modern desktop users. So they say that for the modern desktop users, if you need snapshots, copy on write, file system level compression, and also, as they said in the other articles, if you're having a lot of small files, which most people actually do, and stuff like that, it could be worthwhile thinking about. We have this one here. BTRFS, ZFX, XSS, Ext4, how are they different and which file systems should you use? And they talk again about a lot of the things that we have already talked about. So here, best for the enterprise. and this is from salvagedata.com. So this site here, this is actually a really interesting site. They are in the business of data storage. So they must know somewhat what they're talking about. Let's go down here. Best for enterprise. BTRFS is great for large companies that need a handy file system that is easy to manage. Good for technologies and projects where high failure tolerance is not required. Best for maintenance. For the most part, ZFS is intended to work with Sun, now Oracle products, which are mainframes, cluster servers, environments, supercomputers, etc. Consequently, some of the benefits offered by ZFS won't work for small businesses or private users. Best for personal projects. Despite some capacity limitations, Ext4 makes it a very reliable and robust system to work with, given that Ext4 is the best fit for small office, home office needs and projects require stable performance. Again, they're not saying that you should use X, Y, and Z. They're giving you the data. Best for large volume data. XFS can be especially helpful where large files are involved. Huge data storage, large-scale scientific, plotty enterprise project. Plotty projects. And here they talk about the BTRFS, and they talk about some of the same features. And here they talk about the feature set of each file system. And again, we have talked about that previously, so you can just go and read about it here. They do put in some extra things into it and tell you a little bit extra about it. So I recommend that you read all of these articles, because you learn something new, because all of those articles are talking about something new all the time. This one here, RAID recovery, and this is from diskinternals.com. I kind of came across this here because as far as I know, and if you look at all the other articles here, Ext4 don't use a Scorpion write. So I was just like, this is really crazy. They talk about licenses, reliabilities, and stuff like that. So anyway, this was just because I found it funny that they said that ZFS and Ext4 use Scorpion write when BTRFS is using Scorpion write. So not even, replicable or big companies get it right all the time. What is the thing with this love letter here to all of you BTRFS fanboys out there? So if people come up to me and say that I'm massively wrong, but they don't give me some data why I'm wrong, they're not saying, look at this article, look at this video from MIT, Harvard, or whatever it is. Look at this white paper that Ubuntu or Red Hat or whatever have made about the things that you're talking about that basically disprove everything that you're saying, or most of what you're saying. Or look at this scientific study that are showing you that you are wrong. I would be listening to it, but they don't. What they do is they go and say, let me go all the way back here, that I read this article as I did. But they only say they have read an article. They don't give me the article. Or, well, this YouTuber that has way more subscribers than you say so and so. Yeah, just because it's a YouTuber don't mean that we are right. Just because we have more subscribers than someone else don't mean that we are right. Okay? What we do is that we take a really, really complex subject, boil it down, normally to a really, really easily understandable snippets of video. So that means that some things would be generalized if they are not massively important to what the message is that we're trying to say. So in my case, and that's what they are following me on a lot of time, is that the snapshot feature. I don't talk much about that in my other video, and I had a bad experience with snapshots on my OpenSUSE. It basically took up all my hard drive space. And that's all I said about it. And it's not a feature for me, and I don't think it's that important, because if that's your backup scheme, you will have a problem at one point in life. So, hey, I can't convince you. Just wait till your hard drive fucks up. That's all I'm saying. So I didn't really mention much about that. So if you want to tell me that I'm stupid and massively fucking crazy for having the opinion that I have, don't tell me, show me. And I always have a problem with people that are like telling me instead of showing me. See you all later. Bye bye.